All right, Rag Boy from Wake 9, and we got a lot of little kids here today because we're going to do a special podcast on different ways to get these little guys up. As we've been doing this for a while, and we got a lot of different techniques because not one technique always works. And not only that, sometimes you get a tough kid. Like, for instance, we have Susie and Josephina here, my two nephews from Texas. Some kids, they get up right away, super easy. Some, you have to try different techniques, and then some you have to do one technique to get them used to it, and then another technique finally gets them up. There's a lot of different things. So I want to show you first with Jessie here. Jessie's been trying since she's been like 4. And the first thing we used to do is we used to get this board here. Here's a grom. And we used to just lay it on the back deck where I'm standing now and just let her play on it and sit on it. And then we'd throw her in the water and we let her play on the board. Get her used to the board. Let her try to stand on it. Let her have fun. Then the next thing we do is with these little guys like Jessie is we would get them on the side of the boat here. Now Jessie, get on your knees. You know how we normally do it with your knees? Is you would show her how to get on her knees towards the back of the boat. Go ahead, go towards the back. Get on your knees like you would normally go on the back. And then she would have the rope. And we'd have her just on the side of the boat over here. Maddie, show over here. We'd have her on the side of the boat. And we'll show you some film of what that looks like. But we'd have her side of the boat, and we just slowly let the rope out, going maybe 7 miles an hour, 6-7 miles an hour, about 1,500 RPM on my boat, and just let her ride underneath, and then maybe even try to stand up. Now the hard part about when them trying to stand up on their own is they never get their feet in the right place. If you notice, look down on the board, Maddie, is that we have on this board these special arch bars in the traction. Now these help a ton. They don't just help kids, they help everybody. Because it shows, Jessie, stand up where your feet go. She knows where her feet go because she knows that she puts them on top of the arch bar all the way so that her feet are over the arch on these arch bars. And that helps them know where their feet go. So, we're going to show you, so there's the side of the boat technique, and remember, if you do that, do it on a weekday. Don't do it on a weekend. Do it when there's nobody out. And you're gonna have to have somebody like RJ sit on the back of the boat so when the little guy falls, somebody jumps in to go right with the boat. Because you don't want the kids to get freaked out. They get scared easy. You want them to do it again, okay? You need to have a fresh air exhaust if you're gonna do that. We do. That means when we're moving, there's no carbon monoxide hanging around here. You do not want to run slow speeds with people near the back of the boat like that unless you have a fresh air exhaust. That is absolutely important. And make sure you check the laws on your local lake, okay? One more thing about what we do to help teach people, this goes for everybody when you're teaching them. As you can see here, the way we have the rope is not tied to the center of the tower. We call this the Wake 9 surf nubbin. And we would like to have it a little higher, but the bimini top's in the way. Come back. Now the reason we do that is when the boat pulls you out of the water, it's pulling from the side. When you tow from the side of the boat like we are, when you get up, it just automatically keeps them outside and they don't have to drop in. It's very helpful. Another really big help is that you don't have to keep throwing the rope out. All you do is just drop it out there, and because the rope's on the side, it's easier for them to pick up. So I'm going to get in the water and I'm going to show you how we help these little guys in the water get up on the board because they can't quite do it themselves. Now I'm going to wrap my arm around here and show you with Jessie. I take the rope with one hand, I hold it on the corner, and I hold the board like this. My other hand, I help her guide her rear foot onto that arch bar, and she goes and puts her other foot and she sits on my shoulder, and then she grabs the rope. And you notice that she's got her feet in the arch bars. Now that's the hard part. The hard part, let me get away from the boat a little. The hard part is teaching her where to put her feet. Arch bars help. Now we're ready to go. Now when the boat starts to go, I'm gonna point the board. I have both hands on it. One hand is down here by the rear fin, and the other hand is to the right of her front foot. And I'm kicking to keep myself and her up. She's resting on my shoulder. Now as RJ gives a nice slow gas, he's not going to do that now. I'm gonna slowly point the board in the right direction and help her. The key is when to let go and how much to push. Just wanna do it nice and easy so the board stays underneath her. Now let's do this for real. Okay, RJ, nice and easy. Now I'm holding on and I'm letting go.
Alright, so we don't have many regular riders on this boat, so we don't have a nubbin on the side. So what we did as a little cheat, because we don't have a nubbin on the side, is we did a little slip knot around this corner of this tower right here. And it's kind of a pain to put the rope all the way through and make a slip knot, but it works, and this is what we're going to use for our regular riders. Alright, before I put Brett out with my dad, I'm gonna see if he's regular or goofy footed. So what we do is we push the person, and whatever foot they put backwards is gonna be their back foot, and that's gonna be their stance. So here's what it looks like, Brett pushing me. See, I'm goofy footed, and as you can see, I put my left foot back to catch me because that's more natural for me. Now I'm gonna do the same with Brett, and we're gonna watch his feet and see which one he puts back. Okay, he looks like he's regular footed.
Brett's 10. Now when they're bigger, you don't have to get them up quite like how we did with Jesse, where they sit on your shoulders. They're a little big. You want them to get up more like a normal wake surfer would get up. And the way that is Brett, put your feet up like I showed you. So they got to put their heels up on the board where they're supposed to. Now normally, how a kid would get up, hold the rope, is the boat would go, and then Brett would push down with his heels, which would flip the board, and then the boat proceeds to get him up. Now the problem is that's a little hard when they're new. Also, when you have to flip the board, your heels have to be close to the edge of the board. What happens when you do that is your feet are not in the proper position. So once you get up, you have to move your feet into position, which can be hard for a new person. So I'm gonna be in the water, and I'm gonna help him flip the board, and I'm gonna help him do it so his feet are in position as he gets up. Now, I'm gonna do that with my right hand, where I'm gonna help flip. My left hand is gonna go right under his tuchus. As RJ goes, I'm gonna flip the board and kind of help him over the top of the board, and I'm gonna pull the back of the board underneath him so it points to the boat and push and kind of help at the same time. So let's show you how that works. Flip. RJ, go ahead. I'm pulling the, go ahead RJ. Stand up. Okay, Brett's doing pretty good for only a second try. We're gonna go again, and this time I'm gonna tell him to lean back a little more because he's getting kind of squirrely because he's going over the front of the board. There's a lot of stability with these three big fins. So that's a good thing to remember too. You want to use a board with three fins, one in the back, they're a lot more stable. A twin fin is gonna be a little too squirrely. Bend his knees. Last time he stood up too straight. You ready? Okay, RJ.
Woo! All right, Brett. All right, you got it, buddy. Woo! Oh, we're coming.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Okay, RJ. Stand up. Whoa.
Big log, big log. Come on, almost. Bend your knee. Woo! Right. Woo! Come on, lady. Keep your knees back, buddy.
Go out of the way.
Go out of the way. Keep that.
Now that Brett has gotten up a few times with help, he's going to try now without help. He places his feet where he has been told to and where it feels natural to him. Now, I give a bit of gas and tell Brett to flip the board. Once he has the board completely flipped, I pull him up nice and easy as he slowly gets up. Now here's Blaine getting up. One thing you want to watch for is that the rider isn't getting caught in the mush of the wave. To do so, you'll have to turn towards the rider a bit, or you'll have to explain to the rider how to edge out on his heels to get away from the mush of the wave.
Great job!
right, as you can see, been in the water for a couple hours now, but we got all these guys up. It's been a great time, and you can see when you teach them and get in, sometimes it's about helping them, and sometimes it's just about giving them the confidence. But after a few times they get up, and then they can get up by themselves. And you saw the way they get up by themselves by flipping the board. That's how an adult does it. It's the same thing. Some adults, you might want to go in the water and help them. You might not want to put your hand on their butt, but you know. Anyway, get them up the same way. So get out there, get some people wake surfing, have a great time.